Good evening and welcome to our second annual Fandom Choice Awards. That was not a clip reel because we have a bunch of clip reels for tonight, but that was like a picture reel of all those episodes featured, or all the cover art there featured are for episodes that are nominated tonight. There are certain things that aren't in there, like our special live stream only and podcast moment running theme and panelists, but all the panelists that are nominated have been in one or two or 10,000 of those episodes. And fun story, I was going to try and put together that opening video and have every single episode, the cover art for every single episode we have done. And I just went, never mind, this is going to take forever, but that's a good thing. We did a lot of fantastic episodes last year. And this year, this is our second time doing this. And this year, so many races were so tight. Last year, a lot of races were decided like pretty clearly from the get-go, like it was like clear front runners. But for this one, there were quite a few categories that I thought we had a winner, and then it completely changed like the next day, and some that were like ties for a long time. We had at one point, we had one category that had a 4-way tie. That did eventually get broken. But so that was exciting to me. There were a couple categories where there was a clear winner, but overall there were so many tight races. And to me, that just shows what amazing panelists I have that help me with this podcast. So I'm very excited for this. And please feel free to put any comments in there. I know the date got switched around and all this stuff. So I know a lot of people weren't able to make it, but I just want to thank everybody for hanging in there with that. So thank you so much. And thank you to everybody who voted. To my Patreon subscribers, a special shout out because you helped decide the nominees. That's a perk of being a Patreon subscriber. So if you become a Patreon subscriber, you can help choose some of the nominees next year. And shout out to Patreon subscriber Ellen. I don't know if you're watching, Ellen, but if you do tune in, hi. Ellen, of course, came up with the name Fandom Choice Awards. And the person who came up with the idea for this, because she knows if you come to me and you say, hey, why don't you do this? No matter how much stuff I have on my plate, I'm going to say, okay, let me do it. Hey, Ellen, yes, you are watching. Good. And that is, she comes in at a whopping 43. That's right, 43 nominations. Carla.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Thank you for having me and for letting me help you with this amazing show.
Well, thank you for being here to help me. I really, really, really appreciate it. So thank you so much. And I'm very, very excited to have you on. And I'm also very, very, very excited to have on. She is nominated for 13 Fandom Choice Awards. She's also one of my co-hosts of our brand new podcast, It's a Dean Thing. And our Dean Winchester episode is nominated for 4 Fandom Choice Awards. I upped it when I said it was 5, but it's actually 4. So I apologize, but it was nominated for the most. So please welcome 13. I don't know if I said that already, but she's nominated for 13 Fandom Choice Awards tonight. Paula.
Hey, everyone. Hi.
Hi. And we are also I forgot to say really quickly, we are streaming on Instagram. And remember, that's a new thing StreamYard is doing. I can't really tell comments. I'm going to try to keep checking and seeing if I can see comments. But if you're watching there and you're like, why aren't you acknowledging me? That is why. So I apologize. But to those watching right now, please feel free to have comments. Congratulations to people. I do have some written thank yous for people that may or may not have won some. And there are people that will be coming on if they do win. And also, if Carla and Paula win, they can give acceptance speeches. So if you're new to this is the way it's going to go. So the way we're going to do it is we have a PowerPoint presentation, and we're going to go around alphabetically, starting with Carla. And Jen, my podcast brain twin, might be joining us later. Aaron A. might be joining us too to help present. But until they get here, it'll be Carla, Paula, and then me, and they'll read the nominees, and then we'll play a clip reel from those episodes, and then that person will announce the winner, and then we'll give acceptance speeches. So let's get right to it so we can get going with this, since it is technically a work night still. I mean, it is for me. I don't know why I'm saying technically, like it's not really a work night. And we'll get started. So Carla will be reading the first one, which it is appropriate that Carla reads our first category, and you will see why, because our first category,
Best Christian Bale episode. Yes, we are starting off with the man who makes our Januaries that much brighter. Brighter than all the snow, I've heard. The first nominee, The Big Short, featuring Carla, Aaron A., and Jen. Empire of the Sun, featuring Carla, Judy, and Paula. Newsies, featuring Carla. Special coverage, The Pale Blue Eye, featuring Carla and Paula. Vice, featuring Carla.
and also feel free to put in the comments which one you think is going to win, and we'll see if you can guess correctly. So here we go with the clips. Oh my God.
What happens is that you give the $1 to a person, and the person then says, "Thank you for your dollar. I will turn it into $5." And you say, "Oh, jolly good. Thank you so much." And then the person scampers off, and they take your dollar and they put it in the Wall Street money machine. And the Wall Street money machine then does Wall Street money magic. And then, poof, your dollar can disappear. Or poof, they can turn it into 5 whole real dollars, American even. I think that Spielberg did a fantastic job bringing out the best in a child actor. And that child actor was me. His performance really draws you in. I think once you get past the first musical sequence, when you get to where they go to Weasel to get the newspapers, that's when you start to like actually get into the movie, because it's the acting and it's the performing. Even with that accent, that accent was so accenty. It was just,
it was early on in his great accent career, because he does really good accents normally. So
he does.
When you read the script, did you, when you got to that twist, did you like the twist? Were you excited to play that?
It was fantastic. I love the twist, both as a concept and as a dance move.
And as a dance move.
Yes. Oh, I love films with twists, and I love doing the twist when I dance, which I don't do often enough, I must admit. That very movie, Romeo and Juliet, was what inspired me during the Shakespearean style portion of Vice. I cribbed everything from John Leguizamo.
there's a if you're wondering why the Newsies clip was different, there's a very big reason why the Newsies clip is different, and you'll find that out down the line. But just Carla, one of the biggest blessings in the world is just that coming into our life. So Carla, who is the winner?
The winner is The Big Short, featuring Carla, Aaron A., and Jen.
Congratulations. Woo! And both Aaron A and Jen aren't here. They were supposed to be on. So Jen is coming soon. Aaron A, something where she might not be able to come. But Carla, take it away with a thank you.
On behalf of Aaron A and Jen, as I am their legal representative in Fandom Thing Matters, for this very particular moment only. That is what the law stipulates. Thank you to everybody who voted and everybody who enjoyed that episode. It was a lot of fun to record, and the Mom Bucks were such a okay. It was a hilarious moment. I really enjoyed doing that, and I think we all enjoyed that, because I don't know about you, but I learned so much about the stock market with that particular moment. It just cleared so many things up for me that now I'm like, I'm an expert.
Yes.
So thank you again to everybody who nominated the episode and who picked that one. There are no losers in the Christian Bale selection pool because they're all so much fun.
It's true. It's true. And joining us just in time, Jen, my podcast brain twin, you just won a Fandom Choice Award for The Big Short.
No way. Well,
Carla was just speaking on behalf of you as your legal representative, but if you want to say any thank you.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you, Carla, for. I have nothing prepared. This was unexpected.
Okay, so, Adele.
Yeah. So, so thank you, and hi, Tiff, and this is. Thanks for enjoying the episode, and I'm glad that I won. So glad I wore my best flannel for tonight's, but yeah.
Thank you for wearing the Winchester tux to this occasion.
Oh yeah, well yeah, it's fitting since the Dean Winchester episode is nominated for quite a few, so it's fitting. And Jen, I know you just got here, but since we're going alphabetically, you would be next. Are you okay doing it next? Reading the next one. Yeah. Okay, so adding this back here.
Okay.
So then just read that, and then I have the clips. So.
All right. So for Best Black History Month episode, Aaliyah featuring Carla and Ishelle, Angela Bassett featuring Carla, Kimberly, and Tiff, Beyonce featuring Carla, Regina King featuring Carla, Ishelle, and Tiff.
Awesome. And here are the clips.
And so I feel like she was able to take these little things, or she just had these little things. I don't think it was necessarily this like methodical, we're going to build this package by taking X, Y, and Z. It just kind of happened that she had these kind of unique elements that all kind of lined up at a time when nobody else was looking exactly like her and doing exactly what she was doing. And that's what worked and what stood out.
For like this genre, like there's not a lot of Black women in this genre. I know we have like Halle Berry, but like there's not a lot of like Black leads or like Black people of importance in superhero movies. So like seeing her do this felt like it kind of elevated the genre a little bit for me. And I feel like I had to wait until I was like, when did that movie come out? Like 4 or 5 years ago? Like I was in my 30s when I got to see someone like of such importance in this movie. So like for me, like Black Panther's like up there. So I'm really hoping, fingers crossed, that she wins. And it's like, actually, this is for What's Love Got to Do with It and everything else that you've done. Here's your award.
And I think that that's one of the greatest testaments to her is that Black women feel more empowered to be visibly upset, to be visibly angry, and to feel like, well, you know, Beyonce was very visibly angry, very publicly sad. And she went through this. I don't necessarily have to hide my emotions because it will be seen as unseemly because I'm a Black woman. Again, this is a role where Regina King gets to flex her, I'm a tiny woman, but I have 6'5" energy. The way that she goes at Zazie Beetz, oh my gosh, like I could feel the punch across the screen. I was like, oh, I think that hurt my jaw.
Okay. And once again, feel free to put any of your guesses in the comments, and welcome to those just joining us. So we are on to our second category. So you ready to read this one, Jen, for the winner?
Yes. And the winner is Angela Bassett with Carla, Kimberly, and Tiff. Woo!
And Tiff, I know you have the link, so if you want to hop on really quickly, feel free to. But yes, so if you have an acceptance speech for this one too, Carla, and unfortunately Kim couldn't make it because she's recording a podcast episode right now, so it's kind of fitting why she is not here. But yeah, so
In my limited capacity as legal representative for anybody with whom I shared podcast time, as a winner of that panel, I would like to thank God, by which I mean Angela Bassett, and her amazing breadth of talent. I want to thank, of course, Kim and Tiff for having great tastes, and also want to thank the voters and the nominators for also having great taste.
And I have to say that clip was so sad to put on there. I almost cut it off because it's like, because she didn't win. So it's like, we recorded that, of course, beforehand. And I'm like, oh,
Because she should have won.
yes, exactly.
All the awards, all the time.
Seriously.
Exactly. Yes. And hello to, I'm not going to say who it is backstage because we're saving that, but hello backstage. It's nice to see both of you back there. We are running, we hopefully will be getting to that category, hopefully within the next 10 minutes, I'm hoping, but we'll see. But thank you so much for being here. So now, Paula, back to you. Next category.
All right.
Sorry.
So we have Best Book Episode, Favorite Authors featuring Carla and Jen, Favorite Books Part 1 featuring Bex, Carla, and Ishelle, For the Love of Books featuring Carla, Judy, and Sasha, Graphic Novels featuring Bex and Sasha, and Horror Novels featuring Erin A. and Paula, me.
Okay, and here are some clips.
Real quick with the Babysitters Club, because Claudia was my girl, because, yeah. And so it was, I loved seeing it. And I love that Claudia was not all about being like that model Asian American and she was more into, like you said, the fashion and everything. And I love that because, especially in that time, there weren't a lot of Asians that weren't trying to always please their parents. There weren't a lot of us doing their own thing. So trailblazing.
So I think that's why I had this weird thing about romance, because I was like, I don't want some guy to come rescue me like I'm a damsel in distress. And I don't feel like I have to be married by the time I'm 19. It's like,
Gosh.
I don't want children. And I don't know. So just that was when you're from a small town and the deep South like that, that's kind of what the ideal is. By the time you've graduated high school, you need to kind of know who you're marrying. Definitely by the time you've graduated college. And so I just don't want anything to do with any kind of romance.
But all of the other characters are new characters that she has made up. So it's diverse and interesting, and lots of women who are kicking ass left and right. Yeah, I cannot recommend it enough. So Down to Agincourt is the name of the series. And if you ever read it, ping me. I would love to fangirl with you.
For me, one of the things I learned was how to read differently, to appreciate that people read differently, right? Yeah, I guess, again, just there's so many ways to enjoy a story. Is it a print book? Is it an ebook? Is it an audiobook? Is it a film? You can read a film. All of these count to me if you take the time to carefully consider what's happening in the text.
There is something about wide open spaces in the dark that is absolutely terrifying. And how many novels do you see where it's just a single house on a book with nothing around it? And it's scary.
Yeah, exactly. See,
it's isolating. And I think that's what's scary about it.
That's exactly what's scary about it, is the isolating feeling of you're there and is there anyone else around? And so if something happens, how are you going to get away from that? Okay.
It's a tie. Wow. So graphic novels and favorite authors. I think this is a first, isn't it?
It is a first. Yes. So congratulations I have something to read from Sasha. So congratulations to Bex and Sasha for graphic novels. And then for Carla, you and Jen, this is number 2 for both of you. So
it's number 3 for me.
Yeah, it is number 3. Oh my God. I'm sorry.
So these are just not about it.
You're right. I'm sorry.
Yes,
Number
go
3
all of
episode.
us.
So Carla, if you're keeping track, Carla was nominated for 43 of these, okay? And she just this is her 3rd out of the 43.
Mind you, it's not across 43 categories, okay? So it's like distilled, okay? So imagine divided by like 4, okay?
But still, so I'm going to read really quickly what Sasha said. So Sasha said, just a huge thanks to all the voters. And Sasha said her dog will be happy to hear she won an award. Her dog has been featured on plenty of episodes before. So yes, yes. And Bex said, go all of us, in case you didn't miss that right there. So thank you so much. And yes, so Carla, Jen, do you have any other words you want to say on this one?
Jen, please.
Well, I mean, again, thank you for the nomination and the votes and everything. And I love that like this one not only was nominated but won, because with working at the library and I see all the Babysitter Club books, I think about Carla every single day. And I'm very much tempted to send pictures of the various covers to be like, and maybe like hide the title and see if she can guess it and play like a fun little game that way. But yeah, that's it's that's all I got. Thank you.
And I just want to thank books for existing as a concept because they are amazing. And I love reading. I love being able to get lost in a world that somebody else made up, and then to have dreams about it for ages, because that's part of the fun, the imagining, and not necessarily knowing where things are headed, being surprised. Sometimes not being surprised is good too. Predictability is not always a bad thing. But thank you, writers, for making my enjoyment of books possible.
Yes, I second that. It was so, and we did a lot of books because of the strikes. And so that was a really pleasant thing. That was a joy to have, to be able to cover stuff that we didn't normally cover and we should have been covering. So yes. And Beck says the graphic novel episode was so fun to do. I learned a lot from that one because I wasn't too familiar with graphic novels. So yes. Okay. Well, it's my turn now to read one.
You can do it, Erin.
Yay.
Finally.
Best comedy month episode 13 going on 30, featuring Carla, Meg, and Tiff, the Saxy ladies. Abbott Elementary, featuring Carla and Susie. Always Be My Maybe, featuring Carla, Jen, and Meg. And Favorite Television Comedies, featuring E-Shell.
A credit to this movie, they don't make it like this like big sexual thing where it's like, oh, I want you. There's not a point at which he leers at her or he views her as an object to be lusted after. Like there's always like this connection that comes from deeper down, from a more innocent place. And I really enjoy the way that they did that, because they don't really have that big spark until towards the end, when it makes sense for them to, because they're both grown-ups. Everything about this show just screams hope. And, if we work together, we can make things better, and we can, reach these children and utilize what we do have to make their lives better and brighter.
And to hear someone be like, kimchi smells great and I can't wait to eat this. Like, I have never heard anyone say that growing up. My mom didn't want, I didn't really care for kimchi, but my brother did. And he would want to take Korean dishes to school for lunch. And my mom was very much like, don't, because it smells weird. And basically you're going to be made fun of and and I get she was trying to protect her kid and everything, but there was none of that. Be proud in who you are, what you come from, where you come from, and what you like to eat. So it was very refreshing, even at 42, to see that people are loving Asian cuisine and the smell and the preparation and everything.
Another one that I'm going to throw out is Frasier. And now here's the reason why. It's not necessarily because I like bust the gut laughing at Frasier, but I had a teacher in high school who told our class that we were not smart enough to understand Frasier. And I was like, I will prove you wrong, lady. And so I made myself love Frasier just out of spite.
And we lost Jen. Poor Jen. I think I've cursed her lately because every time we try to record, because Jen and I have a podcast we do together called Twin It to Win It. And every time we record, her computer freezes. So I don't know if it's me or what, but she's back. So hopefully that'll stay. And so the winner is 13 going on 30, featuring the Saxy ladies, Carla, Megan, Tiff. So I don't know if Tiff was going through a drive-through when she was talking before. So, but congratulations to my Saxy ladies.
Yay!
Oh, I guess I could let you say something else.
I mean, I guess you could if you were so inclined. So, on behalf of the other Saxy ladies, I want to say thank you for enjoying that episode. We love that movie. It is a blast to watch and to talk about. And we, as a group of Saxies, always have fun chatting together. And I'm glad that I guess comes through and makes your voting finger vote.
Yes, exactly. And Tiff gives a bunch of sax bones.
Yeah, don't want to set up those bots.
Yeah, the bots that watch all my Instagram stories. I mean, I'm like, geez, okay. And then I do want to let just so they are aware of where we are. It is going a little bit longer than I thought it would. I'm sorry. It's the clips I wasn't calculating correctly, but we do have, there are 3 more categories to go before we get to your category. Surprise people backstage. I'm not giving away the names. So, but Carla, you're up again.
Let's do this. Best Aaron's birthday month episode. New Order featuring Danelle. Violent Femmes featuring Danelle. Dean Winchester featuring Paula and Susie.
Yeah, that cover of that song is just perfection to me. I love the song. I love Joy Division's, version of it, but Trent elevated it in a way that I don't think very many people could. So
yeah, I liked that cover a lot. And that's the thing is that, when you listen to really early New Order, you can hear Joy Division like clear as day, because Joy Division is a lot darker. Joy Division is a lot heavier because, Ian Curtis was struggling. I got their debut album on CD as well and everything, but I would not get rid of that tape because that tape had such this visceral memory for me, and it meant a lot to me in a way, because discovering them and that album for me at that time in my life, when I was kind of holding on by a thread, and I had like my trust broken by a therapist, and so this album was like kind of like a I don't know, like a soundtrack to what I was going through at that time. And I had a very, very hard time.
Sam will say something, Dean will make a comment from a quote from a book, and Sam will just look at him like, where the hell did that come from? Just because he's a high school dropout doesn't mean that he doesn't have the intelligence. Like you said, he got a GED, and I didn't even think about it from that perspective. Why would he get a GED? He didn't need to. I never thought of that before. But that's absolutely right. But he comes back with, well, I read. Well, of course I read. So I think a lot of people's opinions of him are much less than what Dean really is. And that's sad to see and unfortunate.
And the winner is Dean Winchester, to the surprise of absolutely nobody, featuring Paula and Susie.
And I want to say our guest backstage is clapping too. So Paula, this was also the episode that led to our podcast. It's the Dean thing,
Right.
because we spent 3.5 hours talking about Dean Winchester, and we went
And we had
time.
many more hours worth of talking to do.
So Paula,
Oh, so thank you all for voting for our episode. We had so much fun with it. I mean, we made another podcast because of it. So thank you, everyone.
yes, thank you. Yes, that was a joy. As everybody, I'm not going to go on and on about how much that character means to me, but as everybody should know, that's my all-time favorite fictional character ever. So,
Me too. Yeah, so if you
my
want to
heart-
hear how much we love this character, it's a Dean Thing pod. Go
Yes,
listen.
you're
Very good.
Yes, we're covering season 1 right now, so you can hear that. I should get back to this thing. Sorry, everybody. And plus, this cover art, once again, Carla designs our cover art, and this is my favorite thing in the whole entire world. Is this picture? I want it framed. So anyway,
It is a work of art.
Beautiful.
Well, because he's a work of art.
He is a
Mhm.
work of
And
art.
he's beautiful.
Yes.
All the above.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So, Jen.
Yeah. Hi. So for best Gen X episode, number 1 is Clerks featuring Aaron A. and Sarah. Heathers featuring Sasha. Reality Bites featuring Danelle and Sarah. Say Anything featuring Paula, Sarah, and Sasha.
She is like such a like 90s girl.
Oh, that was definite Jersey hair.
The hair and like the little outfit with the
That
suspenders.
was, yeah.
Oh,
That was so
man.
early 90s.
So early 90s. I'm pretty sure I had an outfit just like that when I was little.
With the suspenders and everything.
Yes, but she didn't have a hat. Like I had a really cool like Boy George hat that I would wear with my suspenders outfit.
Oh,
Anyway.
so kind of a la Blossom.
Yeah.
Oh man,
yeah.
Blossom with all the flowers on her hats
Oh,
and stuff. I love that.
Like, do I try and save my friend, or do I end up in danger with my friend? Do I escape with the one that I'm supposed to escape with, who might eventually kill me anyways? Like, which course of death would I like? Death in a cow pasture or death on the back of a motorcycle? Because I feel like that's the choice in that scene.
No, it is. That's very true.
You know, I don't know.
It's very true. No, it's
But
true.
we will still love the movie, and I will still watch it at any point, as problematic and tragic as it is.
It's the reality of our world growing up, being the latchkey kid, kind of fending for ourselves, figuring out everything for ourselves. And I think a lot of us didn't have the skills, when we got into college or out of high school or out of college, and we're like, what the hell do we do now? Because we were sold those lies, like you talked about. Like, oh, if you get your degree, you can go get this fabulous job and you're set. Yeah, it didn't work like that. Not at all.
This one, oh my gosh. Thank everybody in the world this didn't happen. Kirk Cameron was also considered. The faces of my panelists. Can you imagine?
Just no.
Okay, I get it because he was very popular at the time, but
Yeah,
no, that is
no.
not that.
I think I threw up in my mouth a little bit.
I loved the look. I know when I read that, I was like, seriously, Kirk Cameron? No. Yeah, no. I'm still going to say no. It's over. No. Okay, Jen.
And the winner is Heathers with Sasha.
And once again, Sasha couldn't make it, but I just want to say that that episode was so much fun and this episode's nominated for a couple of categories. So I loved doing that episode, and I still love that movie, as problematic as it can be, but still, I still love that movie. Okay, Paula.
Best Horror Month episode. Haunted Places featuring Tiff. Horror Books featuring Aaron A. and Paula. Urban Legends featuring Paula, Sasha, and Susie. Why Do We Like Scary Things featuring Carla and Tiff.
I have my day of rest. I can, rest. I can go to a church service. I can hear, the preacher in the woods or whatever. And then I can go to Congo Square to see my friends, to fellowship, to, spend some coin if I have it. And so when you walk, you feel that energy. You feel that residual energy. You don't feel like necessarily, I didn't feel like a heaviness upon me. It's almost like I felt kind of buoyed by it.
My all-time favorite, I would say, is The Stand. And I know it might not be considered horror by most people, but it also kind of has that post-apocalyptic that's like my favorite thing to read, because I love to see, how people deal with and react in these situations. So The Stand by Stephen King is probably my
When
all-time.
I was a young child and had access to the internet, for some reason, I really focused in on this legend, and I looked up every reported sighting of La Llorona and every story about. I looked up audio files of reported Llorona cries and would play them. I fell asleep to a couple of them, not proud of it, but I went in and I looked up all these different ones in pictures. I remember one of my projects that I did in a Photoshop class in high school was I put the Llorona in a river.
Happened. The whole audience screamed, and then they all laughed the very next second. And so that's the nice little journey that you get with horror movies. So yes, I totally think that's a lot of what it is it's that journey and that green light and that okay to maybe even explore things you don't think you're allowed to explore as well. And it's a safe place for you to be scared and to get that catharsis.
And the winner is Why Do We Like Scary Things with Carla and Tiff.
Sorry, I should have said, and now let's do the winner. There. So Carla, once again, and I know Tiff earlier said I'm at a stop sign and doing this at a stop sign, no press at home. So congratulations to both of you.
Thank you so much. That was a heck of a lot of fun to research and to dig into, because being scared can be a blast with horror movies. Like we said, it goes into the episode, but because you do get to, turn on the lights and go on about your life afterwards.
Yes, that was a ton of fun to do. So it was a very different horror month for us because of the strikes, but yeah, I loved that. Okay. So now it's me again, and I'm glad I'm excited to be able to do this one, because I have to say, being able to interview people is one of my favorite things in the whole entire world. And I did so many amazing interviews. I was so blessed to interview all these incredible artists. So thank you to them. But the nominees are Sean Andrews, Chaz Bono, the cast of From. I'll try. I duplicated cast members twice. Sorry. Eon Bailey, Hannah Cherami, Ricky He, Avery Conrad, Chloe Van Lanschut, Scott McCord, Jamie McGuire, Cortian Moore, Catalina Sandino Moreno, Nathan D. Simmons, and Elizabeth Saunders. Soups Ain't Always Heroes. Editors Matthew Snyder and Lynn Zubirnes. And Who Are You People? Featuring writer-director Ben Epstein and cast members Emma Horvath, Peter Peros, and Devin Sawa. So here are some clips for that. Sorry, I wasn't over on that part here.
Like when I'm preparing to play a role, I'll usually put together almost like a sort of a soundtrack for the character. And that way I can kind of hop in and out, because films, as you know, are shot, in pieces. So it's a great way to pop right back into that world. Music is a very powerful tool for that. So that's definitely something that I use. And I think that there is sort of a, without killing people with process, there is something to sort of almost like channeling, you know what I mean? And music is definitely a great tool to get you there. You know, like obviously like in acting, to me anyhow, it's most exciting when you don't really know what's going to happen next. And even you're surprised.
And honestly, I didn't think it was going to be as big a surprise as it was. I mean, I was just at Panic Fest when we screened there. And literally at that moment of reveal, there was this, huge sigh from the audience that and just people loved that, because I think you go in and you really think it's going to be a certain type of movie, and then not. And that was pretty cool, actually, being there for that and hearing the audience like, oh my God.
And a lot of people, I guess, a lot of different characters try, to connect, but Elgin really feels comfortable with certain types, even if they're not perceived in that light and whatnot. But yeah, I think it's definitely like almost like you said, a kindred spirit, or like something to do with them deeper down than just like who they are, right? And I'm trying to be very obscure, but you know what I'm saying? Like, who they, it's something deeper. I think Elgin also, he reads people in a deeper sense than just like what they do, but more so like who they are inside and maybe what their purpose and stuff is. Yeah.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. It's that sensitive. Elgin is so sensitive.
Yes. Yeah.
And sensitive people find other sensitive people. So yeah.
Exactly.
And that fan base was used to seeing him as the heroic character Dean Winchester for 15 years. So I do think for fans, it was asking a lot to try to make that leap, looking at the same face, although, he looks very different, and that was certainly done on purpose, and he's not acting anything like Dean Winchester. I don't see Dean Winchester in him at all, but we of course all know intellectually that that's Jensen Ackles, and we're used to him playing a hero. So I do think those two things combined to make it a really confusing experience. There were times when I watched an episode and found myself going, oh my God, oh no, it sounds like they found something to take out Soldier Boy. No, oh no, poor Soldier Boy. I don't want them to take him out. And then kind of had to go, wait a minute. Why am I so worried about, they're supposed to be trying to take him out. He's not the good guy.
I'm both like always worried and not worried at all. If that makes sense, I'm of two minds. On the one hand, of course I am, because I think people, test audiences there's a very visceral response because Carl doesn't fit the mold of what you consider a bad person to be. You like him. He and I think that Devin Sawa gives an incredibly brave performance. And I say brave because he takes a character who in most movies would be irredeemable and makes him very, you find nobility in the crevices of who he is, but doesn't change what he's done.
Thank you again to everybody. Seriously, I love interviewing people. It's my favorite thing to do. And the winner is, for Soups Ain't Always Heroes, Matthew Snyder and Lynn Zubernis, who are backstage right now. So I'm very excited to bring you both on. I didn't know you both were going to be able to make it, so I'm even more excited. So hello, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Hello. Thank you so much. Yay, we're so excited. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much for being on. And seriously, if you, this is your moment, you can plug the book some more. You can plug any other things you want to plug too. So
we are really excited about this book. We just got word. This is really fortuitous that this is tonight, because we just got word today that The Boys season 4 comes out in June. So everybody should catch up with Soups Ain't Always Heroes, because that'll take you right up to the jump off point for season 4. It's really a deep dive into the show and the characters. So if you feel like you need a little refresher before season 4 starts on where Soldier Boy is and where Homelander is and where Starlight is and whatever, we got the book for you.
yes, it's a fantastic book. Really, it's a must read if you are a fan of The Boys. And of course, I know a lot of people are already familiar with your work who are, for you, Lynn, who are fans, of course, of Supernatural. So yes, so So yes, it's a great, wonderful, amazing book, and I really, really encourage you all to check it out. So, and thank you for being on the podcast too. So,
Thank you for having us. You had such great questions.
Yeah.
We enjoyed the conversation so much. So we're extra excited about this because we had such a good time talking with y'all.
well, thank you so much. Really, thank you. I really, really appreciate that. So, thank you. And I apologize if I didn't say doctor before I said your names. I'm sorry. I'm like,
We hear that. We hear that all day. We don't need to hear that here. We're fans. We're fans right now.
you're fans right now. Yes, exactly, exactly. Yes, yes. And I know, I know you were clapping backstage when the Dean Winchester episode won.
Because you said he's my favorite fictional character of all time, and I was like, oh my god, me too, me too.
Yes, I know. And there's several other categories that it's nominated into later on tonight. So yay. Well, I hope you can continue to watch. If you want to continue to watch, you can either watch from backstage or you can go to the YouTube channel, whatever you prefer. But thank you both so much for coming on. And once again, thank you for letting me interview you. It was a pleasure. It really was a pleasure to interview you. So
thank you so much.
thank you. Good night. And you will be getting a little, like, it's a little like digital, like not plaque, but it looks like a what is that word I'm looking for?
Certificate.
Thank you. Thank you. So you'll be getting one of those. We're just going to be creating them and then I'll send those to you both. So
thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Bye. Have a good rest of your night. Thanks for being so patient too.
Oh, no problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Yep, that was awesome. I'm so glad they were able to come
was so
on.
cool.
That was so cool. That was
awesome.
So seriously, and we've covered The Boys twice on this podcast too, so you can listen to those episodes. And I know when we covered The Boys season 3 with that clip, and both Paula and Jen were on that episode, and they both were talking about that with the Soldier Boy character. I was like, but it's Jensen.
How can you not love him?
Yes, and once again, no person can cry quite like he can cry or get those emotions. So yes. Okay. Well, now let's move on to the next category.
Best live stream only. 2022 Fandom Choice Awards. 4,000th.
Wow.
Coming up in 2026. 400th episode celebration. Christian Bale trivia night. Marathon streaming event. And Yellow Jackets episode reactions.
Sorry, I can't get over that. Oh my god.
Well, I mean, if you include the little offshoot episodes and stuff, I think it counts. Plus your other podcasts. Absolutely.
Well, okay. Let me play this before I lose it.
I'm ready. Are you?
Yes.
And the winner is
The Prestige.
The Prestige.
I was waiting for you. Sorry.
I was taking a dramatic pause, and then you know how much I enjoy doing that. I am so excited to announce that the winner of this category is The Prestige, the film for which I lost and then regained my 2 fingers.
Your dedication. Oh my gosh.
My dedication.
Would you rather only be able to watch Supernatural for the rest of your life, but all the characters are played by Misha Collins? Or never be able to watch another Christian Bale movie ever again? And this will go into your question, Jesse. This is hard because I don't want to see anyone else play Dean Winchester as far as the adult Dean Winchester goes. I don't want to see Misha Collins play Dean Winchester. I'm sorry. Maybe a body switch episode would have been fine, but I would be fine Misha Collins playing Sam. That would be weird, but that's fine. All the other characters. But I never want to give up Christian Bale movies. So I guess I would have to go with watching Misha Collins.
I do believe that it is called Rescue Dawn.
You are correct. Yeah.
It is not a movie about rescuing a bottle of cleaning solution, however. People make that mistake all the time. Very understandable. However, that is not what it is about. That is a whole different film.
That is a whole different film. I didn't even know there was a film about that.
Yes, it is an independent film
which was basically, I thought there would be more cultural, like, here's this culture's myths about Bigfoot, and here's this culture's myths, and here's, where that comes from and how it might connect to other beliefs, right? I'm expecting kind of more of a museum experience. And there was a tiny bit of that, but most of it was, here's a stick that we think Bigfoot touched, that we found in the woods. And back here is a dirty mattress with a mysterious stain on it that we think Bigfoot interacted with, that we found in the woods. And over here is a rock that was moved mysteriously from one place to another that we found, you guessed it, in the woods.
I'm like, that was a really convincing speech for someone who's cheating on his wife. And then I was like, but we don't. And then I started questioning, and I was like, but we don't know that he is. Me just assuming because I was like, we only saw Jeff and that woman leaving the hotel, and they weren't all snuggly wuggly. They were just walking out like two people leaving a building.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh, you sons of bitches. You played my
misdirection.
Yeah.
And what
So
you
I loved
expect,
it. I loved
'cause
it.
You Oh, whoops.
No winners for that one.
It's a secret.
It's a secret.
And the thingy goes to the 12-hour marathon streaming event.
Which a lot of people were on there. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that one yet. But I just want to also put this up here. We are all on our way to 4,000.
Yes.
Thanks, Ellen.
I am telling you, 2026 is going to be the year. Especially once Erin actually caves and does the It's a Christian Thing podcast.
It's just a matter of time.
I'm not going to do it.
When Erin wins the lotto, becomes independently wealthy, and has the time for a fourth podcast.
Oh, yeah. If I was independently wealthy, I'd be doing 10.
And the money for an editor.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't edit it. I do an interview podcast. I do the Christian Bale podcast. I do a horror podcast. There'd be so many I would do. So, yes, but I do want to just use this time just to quickly say we are going to be doing every year. I'm like, why am I doing this to myself? Yes. We are going to do another marathon streaming event, and that will be taking place on Saturday, May 4th. From 10 to 10 Mountain Standard Time. Again, I've already got some great panels planned. We're going to do a trivia featuring My Mini Men. So, Dean Winchester will be a category. Carla will be a category.
I mean, I am a brunette, so I guess that counts for your requirements for your Mini Men.
Oh my God, I'm sorry.
Tall brunette. I've ticked off 2 of the requirements.
I was gonna say a Colin Farrell. God, Erin.
Instead of a feral Carla, we get it.
Yes, exactly. So there will be a bunch there. Carla and I are going to be reacting finally to some TikTok videos of some old commercials and stuff. I don't know if Jen and I are going to do something for Twin It to Win It, but there was also an idea that Carla put forth. I'm not going to put it out there yet. It's going to be a surprise about something to do with a lot of panelists. I know Paula and Susie will be joining me for to promote It's a Dean thing, but probably, I don't know if you'll be joining for that trivia or what trivia, but we'll see what we're going to do. But if you want to get involved, please reach out to us. Once again, it's on May 4th from 10 to 10 p.m. If you're a creator, if you're a fellow podcaster and you would like to potentially be a part of the fun, and if you're on later, you get to see how lost I am.
Delirious Erin.
Quite entertaining.
Yes. So let us know. Okay, so let's go on. Jen.
So I know it's my turn to read this, but I have a child that needs to be put to bed. But I will be back as soon as that is all done. So I pass the reading of the nominees on to Paula, and I'll be back.
Okay. See you soon, Jen.
So the nominees for Best Movie Episode are 13 Going on 30, featuring Carla, Meg, and Tiff. The Big Short, featuring Carla, Aaron A., and Jen. Heathers, featuring Sasha. Newsies, featuring Carla. And a special coverage of The Pale Blue Eye, featuring Carla and Paula.
Okay, and you are going to notice, I believe I screwed up on this one. There's one of the nominees, I believe, is missing a clip, so apologies.
Oh,
don't think that's of anything. That doesn't mean that I don't love you. It's just that way.
But we don't talk about it a lot for boys as well, because boys do also have feelings, and they do also internalize a lot of what's said to them that's mean. So it really, when you first meet him, he's like a little bit of a sad sack, but in a very nuanced way, where it's not just like he's walking around with his shoulders slumped and being like, oh darn, like my life kind of sucks. He looks like he's trying to make the best of his situation. And he talks about meeting Michael Burry and how they ended up, I think they had like a mutual respect for each other. And Christian Bale got that this is a singular person. This is somebody who is very unique and very special. He even says that the guy is special. They still keep in touch sometimes, which I think is really cool. But I think that they both have a way of looking at their work that is similar, in that they kind of got lost in it.
This is a movie that for our generation was so representative of our generation in a lot of respects. And even though it's kind of got a lot of surreal aspects to it, there is a lot of things in this movie that are very accurate to our generation. And so I think that's why it resonated so much. And it was, even though there are issues with some of the suicide stuff in here, even though there are issues with that, on the other hand, this is one of the only movies from that time that really looked at suicide head on, and the way that society reacts to suicide in a more, this may sound weird, but in a more realistic way.
Hey, you guys, let's get the papes. Hey, where's the quota for the papes? I gotta get my papes.
The papes part is what I was saying.
It cracked me up. It was like, okay, we get it. You call it papes. Like, you don't have to say papes every third word. I gotta go down the street and go to Brooklyn. Oh, Brooklyn is scary. But they got papes, so it's probably okay.
From Edgar Allan Poe's The Telltale Heart. That's like one of those, things like you say it too fast and,
It's a tongue twister.
Hey, twist again.
Many, many twists.
Come on, say twist again. Aaron, you wanna.
I do, but I'm trying to be good in this. So I was wrong. I didn't miss one. I just thought when I was replaying these yesterday that The Big Short was not there. And so but it was. So I'm sorry, everybody. I've been putting these together, all of this has taken a long time. So okay.
Right. And the winner is 13 Going on 30, featuring Carla, Meg, and Tiff.
Second win for that movie.
Woo-hoo!
Congratulations again to the sexy ladies, including you, Carla.
Thank you. I thought it was going to be Heather's, to be perfectly honest. So I am, color me excited for another win for the sexy ladies, and for this really, really cool movie in which people do the whitest thriller dance I've ever seen in my life.
It's true. What's funny though is that, and this is not at all taking away from anything. This was one of the tightest races we had, and it was tight between, for a while there was it was tight between Heather's and 13 Going on 30. So, and actually The Big Short. It was like this huge, like this was a very, very close race. I know I probably shouldn't be giving that stuff away, but whatever. I'm going to. And I know there are people watching us on Instagram, by the way. I don't know if you're still watching us, but once again, I can't see your comments. So if you comment, I can't see you, but I know that you're watching us. So hello. Thank you for watching us. I appreciate it. It's just for StreamYard. It's Instagram's fault. It's not StreamYard's fault. Instagram is not. They don't want to work with StreamYard to be able to set that up where we get to see your comments. So yeah.
But hello, Instagram.
Yeah. And Tiff wants to thank the Academy of Fandom Singers. So yes. Okay, here we go. So I guess it's my turn then, right? Yeah, it is my turn. Okay. Next up, Best Music Episode. The nominees are Aaliyah featuring Carla and Ishel, David Bowie featuring Carla, Favorite Concert Experiences featuring Susie and Tiff, Violent Femmes featuring Danelle, and What's Going On featuring Tiff. There it is. Mike, where's my...
This is a sentimental favorite because it's very important to me because of the Mindy Project. Try Again from the One in a Million record. And that one, okay, so if you haven't watched the Mindy Project, only watch the first 2 seasons and you will find this song in there at a very important, very sexy, very shippy moment. And he did it, like, from my understanding, kind of as a way to overcome his that gap between wanting to connect with audiences and the success or failure of that. It's like, I'm going to disconnect completely, be something so strange that it doesn't matter whether you connect, because you're divorcing this image of David Jones from the art that is Ziggy Stardust.
She had tickets to a Bobby Brown concert. This was in 1990. And at the time, if you're not aware, Bobby Brown was being banned from a lot of like Bible Belt states because of lewd acts during his concerts. And yes, your girl was there at the Forum in LA, in Inglewood, at 10 years old, watching Bobby Brown gyrating on a heart-shaped bed.
All the negativity, the pain, the suffering, the angst, all of that I was feeling at that time, Gordon sang it beautifully, and the music, everything fit with it. So even the story of them recording their first album, I mean, where he gets locked in the house by his parents, because he was only like 17 or something when they recorded their first album, I think, or 18. He was really young.
So like, my cousin had an actual concept of what music was. Like, when you're 3 or 4 years old, I just knew the lyrics and I'm just spitting them out. So this is an album that is very close to my heart. I love this album from start to finish. It's one of those things where somebody is not just talented, they actually are gifted. And Marvin Gaye was an exceptionally gifted artist.
And the winner is David Bowie featuring Carla.
Wow! That's very exciting because I love David Bowie, and that's personally one of my favorite covers that I've made for this podcast. So that has nothing to do with the winning. I'm sure people didn't vote on aesthetics, but if you did, good job. But yes, thank you for enjoying listening to us go on and on about David Bowie and the magic of his music.
And this is one of our most popular episodes right now. This has been in our top 5 most listened to episodes. It was at number 1 week over week. It just recently got beat out by our Depeche Mode episode from 2022. But the David Bowie one has been consistently at the top for weeks until that happened. And I it's so interesting to me when that happens, because it's like, it's not like, one download, it's like a bunch of downloads. And I'm always wondering, like, is there like a group of people? Do they find it and they share it with other people, or how does that work? Because I think at first it started happening right around his birthday. And so that made sense to me. It's like, we've had certain episodes that when certain events happen, they get really popular. So I don't know, but it makes me happy because I love our music episodes, and in our top 10 right now are about 70% of them right now, at least, are music episodes. So I know those are very popular. And so I'm very excited about that. And so tomorrow, our episode featuring Carla and Tiff talking about In Vogue will be dropping as well. So yeah. So I loved that episode too. I loved all those episodes, but I love music. So, duh. Okay. Do I want Carla to read this one? Yeah, you go ahead and read
What
this
is
one.
it?
Go ahead and read this one.
Oh! Okay. Best podcast moment / learning theme. Carla's Christian Bale impression. And I don't know what you're talking about. He actually is here. So my impression of Christian Bale is that he takes up entirely too much of my house and he's all for marshmallows. Anyway, the Dreammakers, Carla, Aaron, and Tiff. Yeah. Aaron's Many Men. Pop culture and fandom news episodes. And 6 Degrees of Finn Whitrock.
Okay, here we go.
I was in a musical once. I said never again, but a man can change his mind now and then. It happens. So won't you please consider me for the role of John? Or even if it's Richie, I'll be happy. Come on, you've gotta cast me. I'd never steer you wrong. Just give me a shot. Hey, I've got the hair. Yeah, it's a wig and I don't care. Take a look, you can't help but stare. Whoa, that's John Bon Jovi there. John Bon Jovi there.
I wonder which big Hollywood star we can make this dream come true for.
Somebody out there is looking for a fresh project that has to do with podcasts. And they're like, what is a fresh take on podcasts? And here we are yet again, the Dreammakers making dreams come true. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Colin Farrell. This is what I want.
I believe he can bring a just absolutely spectacular take to this idea.
You know, I would not have. He would not have been my first choice to play Tiff in a movie, but I don't know. I guess maybe I can see it.
Well, if I had my druthers, I would think that I would have Meryl Streep play me because she's Meryl Streep and she can play anybody.
Sister and I are expecting that Colin Farrell will be there to show us around.
Naturally, of course.
Isn't that what he does for everybody who goes and visits?
I think it's a tour package that is offered, so I'm pretty sure.
I mean, yeah, we are going with a special tour group. So
this is probably the one.
He's leading it. He's leading it.
Yeah. It makes sense to me.
Checks out. Checks out for me.
You know, like so many actors do cameo. He does tours of Ireland. It's a perfectly natural extension of celebrity. Yes. Why not?
Yeah. Celebrities have to diversify their portfolios too, and so they've got to offer a wide range of services. So
exactly,
yeah, definitely makes sense.
Yes, that one, that wig. Yes, Sasha just found it.
What is happening? Why? When you type in Ben Lawson wig Firefly Lane, one of the first things that comes up is this popsugar.com one. The title above this image is Johnny gets inspiration from 80s heartthrobs. What 80s heartthrob?
Maybe, I don't know, like maybe...
Rob Lowe.
Oh, yes.
Or Rob Lowe as a reference. They gave Johnny a slightly shorter style with a floppier side-swept section in the front.
But it looks so bad.
We gave him that Breakfast Club look. No, you did not.
3D. He was in that with Jamie King, who was in Sin City, A Dame to Kill For, with Josh Brolin, who was in Gangster Squad with Emma Stone, who was in The Amazing Spider-Man with Kelly Absel, hope I'm saying that right, who is in an upcoming horror movie with Finn that comes out, I think, next year. It's called Don't Move.
I'm so excited for that movie. So sorry. Anyway, so
And the winner is Christian Bale. Yay! That is honestly okay. That just really makes my night and week and possibly month, because I love hosting Christian Bale through my body. And I love printing out pictures of Christian Bale at the local Walgreens and hoping that I don't get reported to any agencies. Thank you to the Walgreens people for being cool and not turning me in for excessive fandom. Thank you for Christian Bale for being such a dorky dad goofball, and for not yet suing me for for the way in which he is represented, allegedly, by me.
I like to think he would love it, honestly.
I would hope so. I would hope so, because it's all in good fun, Christian.
Yes, and he's such a dork. He is such a dork. If you don't know this, he's like the biggest sweep in the world. Male sponsored by
Seriously, yes. Thank you, Walgreens, for spending the time and ink to print out my not at all suspicious photos of Christian Bale.
Yeah. And returning, my podcast brain twin Jen.
Yay! And my co-host, Sergeant Snuggles. Oh, he's so mad. Oh, those flat ears. He's mad.
So Jen, you're just in time to read it. You keep coming right when you're supposed to read a category. Are you
I've got
prepared?
impeccable timing.
Yeah. Look, Christian one. You
Christian
just
Bale.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, not a fan.
All right. So, best Pride Month episode. LGBTQIA plus representation in television, featuring Carla, Ishel, and Tiff. Our Flag Means Death, featuring Carla, Meg, Susie, and Tanya. Queer as Folk, Lindsay and Melanie, featuring Danelle, Ishel, and Ken. Queer as Folk, Debbie and Vic, featuring Carla and Danelle.
I think soaps overall sometimes do a lot better than other television because they don't just throw out a token gay character, and they don't just throw out a safe gay character. They don't just throw out a safe person in the LGBTQIA plus community. They give them a full storyline. They give them a love interest. They'll give them love scenes. They'll have the drama, all of that stuff. They'll have them become parents. They'll have love triangles, everything like that. So while there are some missteps for sure, I think overall soaps sometimes tend to do it better than other shows.
I kept thinking they're setting these two up, right? They're setting them up as a couple. Like clearly they like each other, and then the moonlight and like the scene where people would have kissed. It's like they almost kissed, but I didn't want to buy into it because I watched this when it first came out, and we have been led down that path, we being fans, so many times. And I'm talking about queer baiting, and whether or not you agree that shows do that, or I'm not necessarily here to have a debate. Shows definitely do that. They definitely do it on purpose.
Yes.
And the fact that this show almost got dismissed by folks because they didn't want to be led that way again. And then to have them go, surprise, everybody's queer. What a way. And I love that they didn't bill it as a queer show. They just billed it as this rom-com, right? Because that also
Yes.
normalizes it.
Yeah, money.
Yes, girl.
He has never let her struggle at
Period.
all.
Ever. Okay. Showed up and played straight for her.
So
Okay.
we gonna just be real about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
She knew what it was. It was a money grab.
Yeah,
Period. Even with Michael, because Michael was changing his ways. He wanted to have a family. He was settling down.
He had his business.
Yeah,
He had a partner.
yeah.
That's so
You know, that shit was planned out. It was strategic.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you
The
now.
life insurance
Yeah,
policies.
okay.
Yes.
They were not playing. I think they were good parents, but the way they chose those fathers, baby, it was financially. You know what I'm saying? It was on the financial side.
It must be so hard to have, now you have Michael and you have Debbie as the grandmother. Oh my gosh, talk about a grandmother from hell.
I cannot imagine having to deal with her. Oh my God.
That's really why they went to Canada. Although, you know, they visit them all the time. You know, they just.
I'm sure she has so many stamps on her passport from going to see her grandbaby. Her grandbaby and nobody else's.
Yeah. And that's the way
They probably
she
at some
is.
point just said, Debbie, we already know you're just come across. You don't even have to show your passport at this point.
That's so true. I still can't get over it. The Ken and Ishel one just like kills me.
They're such a great duo.
They're so funny. And we will be, of course, covering Queer as Folk again this year. I'm gonna have a poll soon. I've been behind on the polls for the episodes, and I just to decide how you want us to cover Queer as Folk this year. But sorry, what you say in the winner.
Well, and the winner is Our Flag Means Death with Carla, Meg, Susie, and Tanya. Woo!
Yay! And I do have, before you get a chance there, Carla, I do have something from Tanya. So Tanya, they said they would like to thank me for the opportunity to contribute to the podcast and for everyone who voted for us, and then also sign the renewal petition. Woo, yes. So
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That show deserves so much love and so much attention. And I am very grateful that it won, because it just serves to validate how at least in my opinion, how much it means to people. And the way that it approaches sexuality is just whatever. It just normalizes it to the degree that nobody is special for being anything other than straight. It's just part of who they are. So thank you to people who appreciate the show and who appreciated our coverage of the show.
Yes, and I am recording with somebody on Sunday. We're recording something talking about. They are very involved in the fandom, and so we are going to be recording an episode talking about how what the fandom is doing, any other things. I just so that will be coming out possibly next week. It depends on how long. I mean, usually when it's like an interview type episode, those are really easy for me to edit. So that will be a special little thing that is coming soon. So stay tuned for more information on that. And I'm sure we'll put like links in like the show notes for that one as well, and any other information too. Okay, so sorry guys, I'm like, what am I doing? So Paula.
Right. So for best special episode, the AMA Music Edition, Only Your Host, bloopers, the Oscars 2023 featuring Aaron A, and special coverage of the Pale Blue Eye featuring Carla and Paula.
Is there any music in your library that you feel embarrassed to love as much as you do? Okay, well, here's the thing. I don't feel embarrassed by any of the music I love. I really don't. I have guilty pleasure music, but I don't really feel embarrassed about it anymore. I am fine acknowledging that I like certain songs. There are ones that I do feel this kind of like if I'm in the car and they come up on my liked playlist, I've got it on a shuffle and I forget it's there, that there is a twinge of embarrassment that comes up. So I'll name maybe one of those. It's actually probably Air Supply that comes up, where it's got a little bit of a twinge of embarrassment because I think Air Supply is awful, but I love listening to them. So I'm going to say that. But as far as like a band, and I've talked about this before, it's definitely Poison. Excuse me.
How dare.
That was sexy.
Oh yeah, very sexy.
Give us our pollen.
Fuck was that?
Sorry. I don't know if you guys heard that, but that was like a crazy
Fergie did, obviously.
buffeting of wind at my door. Weird. Anyway, that's it. I'm done. You're gonna have so much fun editing this episode, Erin. I'm so excited for you.
I'm not.
Between the random issues and the tangents, right? It's gonna be so like we all like this.
But I will tell you.
Uh-oh. You muted yourself.
Okay, this is now my favorite comedy show then.
My Year of Dicks. An ostrich. Sorry.
I'm sorry, but the 12-year-old me, you know what I'm gonna do.
I was like about to say My Year of Dicks. You mean 2000 and no.
Don't judge me, Erin.
I was the same way. That's why I had a hard time going to the next one. An ostrich told me the world is fake, and I think I believe it. That's the last nominee. So, Erin.
I am so intrigued about My Year of Dicks. I need to know what this movie is. And I hope it wins everything.
It sweeps.
Perfect.
One of those characters of Bales that is the least driven, because he doesn't. What I'll say for now is that he doesn't seem very, very driven. So it feels like something so different for him. But motivation in a character is something that can be tricky, and it's done so well so that you're not kind of burdened with too much, and you're just in the moment dealing with this man's grief along with.
I was just ready for you to say it.
And the winner is?
That fits perfectly.
It's a bloopers thing pod.
So everybody was on the bloopers episode, so it's just kind of a thing. I just want to quickly say, when we were playing the AMA clip and the Air Supply, I don't know if you caught Carla turning off her camera when I said the thing about Air Supply.
A dismissal of Air Supply is a dismissal of me. But it's okay, because I'm good at making love out of nothing at all.
Well, okay. Next category is Best Television Episode, and the nominees are 80s Television featuring Carla, Danelle, and Tiff, 90s Television featuring Carla and Aaron A, Our Flag Means Death featuring Carla, Meg, Susie, and Tanya, Television Remakes featuring Carla and Tiff, and Dean Winchester featuring Paula and Susie.
My mom totally had a crush on him.
My mother, I'm pretty sure all of our mothers, all of us of a certain age, all of our mothers who are of a certain age loved Tom Selleck. They loved the stash. They loved the perm. And they loved those teeny tiny shorts. Okay. Loved it. Loved it.
And there was a show that nobody seems to remember but me called Hey Dude.
Yes, that was on my long
It's
list.
little strange.
Yes.
Oh my God.
That was on my
When you
long
live your
list.
home right on the range. I love that one. I had the biggest crush on Brad. Oh my gosh, she was so hot.
Me too. Oh my god.
She was so cool. Oh my God.
I think it would be really funny if it was revealed that he's been living in the walls of the ship this entire time, as we know that there are secret passages, and that he's just been driving Blackbeard crazy, like pulling off various shenanigans, like pretending to be a ghost. I feel like that would be so funny. And it's like, oh, your teacup's missing. Who did that? Oh, your sword is gone and it's over here now. Like, I just think that would be so
She's
funny.
awful, and she becomes more awful. And then they have the gall to end it on like a cliffhanger of like, Mom, I'm pregnant. And that's it. That's the end of the show. Like, honestly, that was Amy Sherman-Palladino coming in and fixing it. Because apparently, like, she wanted to do this because season 7 of the original show sucked so much because she had left the show and the other people came in and they made a mess of it. And she's like, I'm gonna set it right by making this reboot that makes no sense and makes everybody hate all the characters that much more.
Dean really in those scenes is a lot about the woman's pleasure, and Sam always seems more about himself. And I think that's the way Sam is in real life. And I think a lot of that, honestly, is because he was treated like that from a young kid. Okay, and the winner is Dean Winchester, featuring Paula and Susie.
I'm so shocked.
That was a close one, though. That was a really razor thin between like basically all of them.
Wow.
So, Paula.
Well, I think it's just a testament to how much everybody loves Dean Winchester. But again, thank you all for voting. We had so much fun with that episode.
So much fun that you decided to keep it going.
We did, yes.
Yep. So listen to our podcast.
Yes, please.
Yes, we have next week, we'll have our 3rd episode coming out. And we are going to be talking about Dean Winchester and self-esteem and
it's a really happy, uplifting episode.
I was going to say, I'm like, listen to it with Kleenex.
Mm-hmm. And then 2 weeks after that, because we've already recorded this is why I can let you know, we are going to be talking about Dean Winchester and his relationship with John in the first season. So that's another one that was a heavy one to record. Yeah.
That's tissues and your therapist on speed dial.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Okay, we only have 3 more categories to go. So this next one is the last category with clips. So just to let you know.
Best topic episode. Favorite concert experiences featuring... Oh, wait, was it my turn?
Yes, it's your turn.
Okay. Featuring Susie and Tiff. LGBTQIA plus representation in television featuring Carla, Ishel, and Tiff. Misogyny in fandom featuring Carla, Meg, and Tiff. Racism in sci-fi and fantasy featuring Carla and Tiff. And Dean Winchester featuring Paula and Susie.
He stops a concert, he has to go back to a hotel room and just sit there in complete silence and stare at a wall because it just takes so much out of him because he's just constantly moving, constantly interacting with the audience. He wants the audience to be as involved in the show as he is. And like I said, he makes you feel like he is singing to you. It's so incredible. And it also, I have to say, and I don't mean this in like a crude way, and I said this on our episode, it is almost like he's making love to the audience.
And it's the sidekick and generally a man because I don't know, I guess on some of these shows, maybe they think they have a largely female audience. And so it's like, oh, we'll just have this nice little gay man who is going to tell you look fabulous and tell you what purse to pair with your shoes. And that's very palatable and people like that and they can take that. I think people are more offended by a lesbian than they are by the fun, femme, flamboyant.
Women and girls make up 15% of the online My Little Pony fandom. Men took it over, made online spaces unsafe for women and young girls by pornographic, racist, violent fan art that talk about not even just pornographic, but assaulting, bestiality, the whole 9 yards, and made it so women and girls can't be a part of that space for something that was geared towards them.
And this is across the board, you know. I mean, when you talk about romance, sci-fi, fantasy, you know, any type of written word, the way they describe skin tones, it's always with Black people, it's always food. Anybody that has any melanin in their skin, it's always a food. It's chocolate. It's espresso. It's cafe au lait. It's almond. I'm like, do you all just eat and write at the same time? Do you not do anything else? You can't think of any other color that don't have to do with food.
Like, what on my snack table looks like somebody's skin color?
Let's go to the school of repress your feelings until you die. Basically, and unfortunately, most of that he learned from John, which we could also have a whole separate podcast to talk about my feelings for John and all the ways that I feel that he's just failed as a human being.
And the winner is Racism in Sci-Fi and Fantasy, featuring me and Tiff. And I will say I'm excited and also shocked because I was for sure I was going to be a Dean Sweep. Like the Flannel Brigade, I thought was going to just take this one. But I will say I am incredibly pleased that this episode won in particular, because I think talking about racism in fandom and in media in general is always an important topic to discuss. But I think that talking about sci-fi and fantasy in particular is important because those genres don't get enough attention. And it's, as a personal thing, it's just very important to me that this topic was something that apparently a lot of people connected with in the listening sphere. So thank you so much for the love for that particular episode. That really, I'm quite chuffed, as Christian may or may not say, allegedly, perhaps.
Yes, I was very happy.
My mayo-skinned house guest.
I was very happy that won because I that was one of my favorite episodes we've ever done, period. So I learned a lot through it, and I always love our topic episodes, and they're always really popular. So I loved that one, and I loved the misogyny one as well. And we're going to be talking about internalized misogyny. Carla and Tiff and I are recording that episode tomorrow. So but yeah, I loved that racism in sci-fi and fantasy episode a lot. So I appreciate both Tiff and Carla coming on that one. And yeah, that was one of my favorite episodes. So I was glad it made that list, and that I was glad it won too. So
thank you, my sour cream complexion friend.
Amazing. Thank you.
I love it. I love it. After I listen to that episode, because I think you guys say like mayonnaise.
Probably.
Yes.
I mentioned that to like my kids, and they loved it. And so my oldest was like, "That's it. It's just." So I'm like, how are we olive? I'm not green. Anyway, it's a great episode. It's one of my favorites. So congratulations.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. And as Ellen says,
Thank you, Ellen.
Potential Dean Sweep. Well done.
Definitely.
Yes. So now I know technically, Jen, it's your turn, but for the last two categories, the first one for favorite panelist, I'm going to read that one. I just kind of felt like I should read that one. And then we have a special guest that's going to be coming on to read best episode. So first we're going to do favorite panelist. So before we even get to that, just thank you to Carla, Jen, and Paula for helping me with this presentation. I couldn't do it without you. So thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Okay, so here we go. So the nominees for favorite panelist, the little heart I put on the nominees are Bex, Carla, Meg, Susie, and Tiff. Now I don't have clips, but I do have a little video. It's nothing really. It's
I love all of those.
Those
Good.
are amazing.
Those were so great.
I'm glad you love them because I was like, how am I going to do this? Because I was kind of getting to the point where it's like, I can't do any more. I can't find any more clips. So I decided to do that. Before I announce the winner, now I got to try the blonde ponytail. I can never wait that long. Go for it, Bex. But the winner is Carla.
Yay!
Congratulations, Carla.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, nominators and nominatrixes and nominator. And
aggressive nominating.
Well, I think maybe some of you were just like really just punishing that that voting button, and I appreciate it. Thank you, Erin, for having this amazing podcast on which you let me guest entirely too often, and for having such really cool topics that I want to talk about, and I end up having to be like, no, Carla, you've been in enough this year. And yeah, so thank you, everybody. I am like sweatily happy because I for sure thought like probably not this year, and now I'm excited to tell my kid when he wakes up, hey, I won, and he'll be like, what? And I'll be like, what? I know. He's very he told me before he went to bed, you're gonna tell me in the morning, right? I'm like, of course.
Aww.
So now I get to share some really cool news with him in the morning. So thank you.
Aww. You're welcome. Thank you, Carla. Seriously, thank you for being such a big part of this podcast. So, and thank you for coming up with the idea for us to do these awards. They're so much fun. So thank you so much for that too. So yeah.
It is a blast. Speaking of a blast.
So yes, so we have a very special guest joining us, and I'll to do these nominees. So he's become as big a part of this podcast as Carla and Jen and Paula. So please welcome our unofficial mascot, who I have missed dearly, Christian Epic Bale.
Hello, everybody. Congratulations to all the winners. You are all winners in my eyes.
Oh, thank you, Christian. I'm so excited to have you on to do this very last one. You're getting some hearts. I think they're for you. They could be just for Carla, but they're for both of you. Yes.
What is mine, and what's mine is mine.
I want to say, I just saw some pictures of you, Christian, that you shaved all your hair off. So is that a wig that you're wearing right now?
Why, yes, it is. And then I did not want to shock you. I did not want to shock you with such a jarring change in my appearance. As you know, I like to vary things up, both for roles and for non-roles. And this time, I did something to the top of my body instead of to the rest of it, as per your request.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, that's a lot easier. Yes, because I know that is for the upcoming Bride of Frankenstein movie that you are doing that I am so excited about.
Well, I do miss running my hands through my hair. I do miss it indeed. However, I am quite happy for the reason for which my head is temporarily not there.
Well, I'm very excited. So you are going to be you have the honor of reading our final category. So
and it is an honor.
Here we go to the next one.
Thank you. Best episode. There are 10 nominees. Abbott Elementary, featuring Carla and Susie. Angela Bassett, oh, lovely lady, featuring Carla, Kimberly, and Tiff. LGBTQIA plus representation in television, featuring Carla, Ishel, and Tiff. Misogyny in fandom, featuring Carla, Meg, and Tiff. Racism in Sci-Fi and Fantasy, featuring Carla and Tiff. 90s Television, featuring Carla and Ed A. Television Remakes, featuring Carla and Tiff. Urban Legends, featuring Paula, hello Paula, Sasha,
Hello.
and Susie. What's Going On, featuring Tiff. Dean Winchester, featuring Paula and Susie.
Okay, and I don't have clips, but I do have a fun little video for this one too. So I'll play the video and then you get to announce the winner. We just rock out to that for the rest of the night, right, Christian?
Oh, that was wonderful. As the kids say, that was a jammy bammer.
What?
Have you not heard that term? Oh, and then you are just not quite as hip and cool as I. Oh, it is perhaps something that only the English kids say. But that is all right. I don't want you, do not be mistaken. I still think you are wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
And the winner is Racism in Sci-Fi and Fantasy with guest panelists Carla and Tiff.
Yay.
That is ever so exciting. On behalf of Carla, I would like to thank everybody who voted, although perhaps I should let her speak considering it is about racism. And maybe not such a good look to have a marshmallow skinned man
marshmallow skinned
be the one to accept this on behalf. So I will simply say thank you for letting me come on and to read off this category.
Thank you, Christian.
What a treat.
He does have some apparent boundaries. Who would have thought? Honestly, not me. Not me. But thank you once again. That was jaw-dropping, amazing, wonderful surprise for me to see, because it's a category loaded with amazing episodes, and they all deserve love for their own special reasons. But again, for the reasons for which I previously stated, this is a very important episode for me and my little heart. So thank you again.
I was very happy that this won. So congratulations to you and Tiff. I don't know, Tiff, if you're still watching, but congratulations to you both. And thank you again for joining me on that episode. And I wanted this podcast to be a place where we could talk about stuff that people aren't talking about, especially hearing that from voices that too often are silenced. So thank you for joining me on that. And then lighter note here, let's get this trending.
What is your Jammy Bammin song?
I just remembered there's two other things I have to read here on this presentation. And I do want to read it because it's stuff that people wrote in. And especially one, I really hope you're watching, Tiff. I really hope you're watching, because there's something on here that I hope you're watching. So I also had people say what their favorite pop culture and fandom news moments were. I think some of these were just people's favorite pop culture moments in the world, not necessarily on the episodes, except for some. But Tiff's impression of the super bacteria the strikes being over. This one, I think, because we did talk about Taylor Swift, but I don't know if we talked about this exactly. So this is what I'm thinking might have been just in general. But Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce mania, the ridiculous supernatural cruise that had no details but required $1,000 deposit. Yes, and the Bon Jovi biopic audition, which was what we did play for the clip for best.
That's Bale Jovi.
Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry, Bale Jovi. Oh my God. Thank you. It's written right there in front of my face. Apologies. I really hope you're watching, Tiff. I have a feeling you're not, or maybe you just can't type out because, you know, you might be just listening because, so these are what episodes or moments from the past year meant the most to you. The Sexy Ladies breaking down misogyny and fandom. My birthday month, great episodes. All things Tiff, love your family. I love that.
That is wonderful.
I love that. I thought that was so sweet. So I'll make a clip of it and show it to you if you haven't seen that, if you're not watching right now. And then lastly, concert experiences made me smile almost the whole episode, brought back a lot of memories for me too. So yes. So once again, that brings to a close our Fandom Choice Awards for this year. So I want to thank again to Carla, Jen, and Paula for helping me announce the winners. Thank you so much. And congratulations on your Fandom Choice Award winner. Thank your whatever.
Congratulations on your shit. Good job. You did it.
Yes, my brain is only half functioning. And yes, and thank you so much to Dr. Lynn Zubernis and Dr. Matthew Snyder for stopping in when they won. Congratulations again to you, and I really appreciate you joining for a few moments to give your acceptance speech. And congratulations to all the winners out there. And thank you so much for watching along. The people that watched along, people that watched later. Thank you so much. People that watched on Instagram and I'm sorry. Maybe someday they'll fix it. I just still feel like I should broadcast to Instagram because that's where we get the most activity lately. And thank you to anyone who has listened to or any moments of our episodes this past year. I hope you enjoy what we're bringing you this year. I'm excited about a lot of things. I know there's been a couple of changes in the schedule, but I'm hoping you'll like what we have coming for you soon. So thank you. Thank you so much. And if everybody wants to say, I'll give my lovely guests here, an opportunity to say where you can find them. So Carla from Bedwetter Behead Pod and this
Thank
podcast.
you.
And Christian
Yes.
Baleland.
Primarily these days, you can find me here on It's a Fandom Thing, being on every episode that I can get my hands on because I can't shut up. You can also find the podcast that I co-host with Meg, Bedwetter Behead, wherever you get this podcast. You can find our social media on TikTok and other places. Yes, TikTok and Twitter. On both the T's, we are at BedWetBehead Pod. On Instagram, we are at bed.wet.behead.pod. You can find me and my art and my musings at Carla Temis on both Instagram and TikTok, where I still have that one, but so great TikTok. And my website, carlatemis.com. That's CARLATEMIS.com.
Thank you. And my lovely podcast brain twin, Jen. Where can they find you and My Streaming Bubble?
Well, they can listen to My Streaming Bubble on any podcast player near them, except Pandora, because there's issues, but available everywhere else. So I think we know who the real villain here is, the real problem is. But otherwise, you can follow me on Twitter at Streaming Bubble. That's that right there. And then Facebook, Instagram, and Threads as My Streaming Bubble.
I love you, Pandora. Love you, love you, love you.
The founder of Pandora is listening and taking notes like, mm-hmm.
And this is why.
Continue the Operation Block, Jen.
Yep, and this is why Twin and to Win It will probably never be on Pandora because of
Ever.
Jen.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I want to tell you really quickly, Jen. I don't know if you listened to the episode, but on a recent the last episode we released of It's a Dean Thing, this will lead to me in having Paula close out. I was saying the other podcasts I host, and so I was saying I've done this twice in a row. One of these hasn't released, and I went, and
she's coming for your podcast, Jen.
I know, Jen, my podcast, Brain Twin, and I host a podcast together called My Streaming Bubble. So
careful, much like Kelly Clarkson making every song her own, Erin is not coming after your podcast.
Yeah, you better watch it. When we recorded that episode a couple weeks ago, that's what I was doing. I was making my plans.
That's fine. You can write all the stuff and
oh, never mind. I don't want to do this. Never mind. So Paula, from that podcast, It's a Dean Thing Pod, where can they find you and our podcast?
You can find us at It's a Dean Thing Pod on all the social media. You can also listen to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. You can hear Erin try to take over Jen's podcast. Personally, you can find me on all the socials at It's My Sandbox. I don't really post much, but you can still follow me. I'm also on Twitch at my gamer tag Artemis75. That's ARTEMISZ75. And don't forget the It's a Fandom Thing Pod Discord, where all of us are hanging out usually.
Thank you. I always forget that. And we are going to be creating a Dean Winchester channel on there, by the way. We decided that on It's a Dean Thing. We're going to create one. So you're just going to have to, so you can find us there if you want us to just be bombarding you with Dean Winchester content. I don't know. Oh, thank you, Ellen. Thank you. Very Fandom Choice Awards, everyone. And thank you again. Ellen came up with this title, Fandom Choice Awards. So thank you again, Ellen. And thank you for being a Patreon supporter from the very beginning of when I created the Patreon account. So thank you so much, Ellen. It means the world to me. You know, you heard a little bit of her in the bloopers clip, but you can follow Fergie on TikTok at Schroeder and Fergs. That's SCHROEDERANDFERGS. It's long, but it's worth it. She is so cute, sweet. She loves her horror, true crime, and Abbott Elementary. Those are her favorite things to watch. Although the other day I was watching, I don't know if anyone else has watched this. I'm really, really into this show, Couples to Thruple on Peacock. And I was watching that, and she was so into that. I do not know what that says about Fergie, but
Fergie's in her messy era.
Yes. She's in her messy era. I really, yeah. You'll probably hear more about me talking about that on our next Pop Culture Fandom News episode, that show, but I'm so into that show. So yes, but so thank you again, everyone, for watching and listening to the podcast. It's a Fandom Thing Pod. You can find us Twitter, Threads, Instagram.
Whoa.
Wow. Instagram and TikTok. So, and we have a website. It's a fandomthingpod.com. And I'm going to close out. This is old, but I just thought I'd close out this way. I'm going to play an old bloopers reel. And so we just wish you all a good night. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Hello, and welcome to episode 8. Well, this is episode 8 of us talking about Dexter New Blood. This isn't actually, episode 8, although it is episode 8. Sorry. Christmas movies. My hair is doing a weird thing, and I apologize for it. But anyway, so we're going to start.
Watch that without crying, but it was like so sweet, and I loved it. And I'm sorry, it's time to give a dog a pill. Let's put that way.
Is that like seeing a man on a horse?
No, but that's why that's the great thing about fiction. I almost said friction. I don't know where this is going.
Gen Z standards.
We are not Gen Z.
We are not. Yeah,
I know.
We are Gen X. Gen Gen, what is it called?
Gen millennial.
Oh, that's it. Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
So, want me to drive anymore? Oh no, we lost Aaron. Aaron's like, I've had
done.
it.
Aaron is like, hey, Aaron, you were talking about how you wanted to keep this short, and now we're talking about family.
Okay, anyway, thank you for that. So until next time, good night. Whoa.
It feels, at this point, I think it feels just so far removed. Uh-oh.